Good day. I am so truly happy you're here, and I want to take you on a journey that might feel both familiar and transformative. It's a journey that begins with a question you might have asked yourself at some point in your life. Have you ever experienced that strange sensation where something that once brought you joy, excitement, and passion suddenly feels dull, unimportant, or lifeless? It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not something you can immediately put your finger on, but little by little, that thing, which once set your heart on fire, no longer gives you the same feeling. It starts so small, almost imperceptible, like a subtle shift in your emotional landscape. And then, over time, it spreads across your life like a quiet shadow, so gently that you hardly notice until one day you wake up and realize your days have become increasingly routine, mechanical, and monotonous. The things you once cherished and held dear now seem distant, unremarkable, and, in some cases, completely irrelevant. It might feel like a strange kind of emptiness, like a part of you has been turned off and you can't quite figure out why. You might even find yourself asking, "What's wrong with me?" Because it feels like there's something deeper at play, something beyond just burnout or fatigue. It feels like a deeper, more existential problem, a kind of hollowness in your soul that refuses to go away no matter what you do. The world around you becomes distant, cold, and uninspiring. The things that once lit you up with joy now seem to hold no meaning, and it's as though your connection to the world has been severed. But what if, instead of this being a sign of something broken within you, it's actually a wake-up call, an invitation for you to reconnect with something deeper and more meaningful within yourself? What if this emptiness is not something to fear, but rather an opportunity for transformation, a nudge from your soul telling you that it's time to awaken to a greater truth about who you are and what you're meant to be? You see, it's possible that you've been ignoring or suppressing parts of yourself for so long that you've forgotten they exist. Perhaps you've buried aspects of your true essence beneath the weight of societal expectations, daily routines, and the demands of the outside world. The pressures of life, combined with the fears of judgment and the constant need for approval, have caused you to push down pieces of yourself, pieces that once held immense beauty and potential. Over time, these pieces of you become hidden in the shadows, and you forget how important they are to your sense of fulfillment and joy. This part of you, which has been locked away in the deepest recesses of your being, is what Carl Jung called your shadow self. Your shadow is not something separate or foreign to you. It's the parts of yourself that you've repressed or denied, often because they didn't fit into the image you thought you needed to project or because they were too painful to acknowledge. But these aspects of you are not inherently bad or harmful. In fact, they are part of the intricate, complex nature of who you truly are. They reflect the full spectrum of your humanity, including your desires, your fears, your strengths, your vulnerabilities, and the parts of you that have been wounded or misunderstood. The task of facing your shadow, however, is not an easy one. It requires a deep level of honesty and courage. Confronting your shadow means confronting the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding for years, the pain you've buried, the fears you've ignored, the unhealed wounds from your past that continue to shape the way you view yourself and the world around you. It means acknowledging the negative stories you've told yourself, the limitations you've accepted as truth, and the traumas that have left scars on your heart. It's not a process for the faint of heart. But Carl Jung also told us that facing our shadow doesn't destroy us. It opens us up to something greater. When we have the courage to look within and embrace our shadow, we begin to reclaim lost parts of ourselves. We become whole again, more connected to our true essence, and more alive. And when this happens, the numbness that we've been carrying begins to fade, and in its place comes clarity, peace, and a newfound sense of purpose. So let me ask you now, What parts of yourself have you been avoiding? What emotions, thoughts, or desires have you pushed aside because they seem too painful, too inconvenient, or too uncomfortable to deal with? What aspects of you have been calling out for recognition and acceptance, only to be ignored or suppressed over time? The first step in this journey is to have the courage to look at yourself honestly, to confront those hidden parts that you've been afraid to face. This is not about judging yourself or criticizing yourself for not being perfect. It's about bringing awareness to the places within you that need healing and attention. It's about acknowledging that the emptiness you feel is not a random, meaningless void, but rather a signal from your soul, telling you that there is something important waiting to be healed, rediscovered, and embraced. At first, you might think that the emptiness or numbness you're experiencing is just a result of exhaustion, stress, or life's inevitable ups and downs. But if you look more closely, you may start to realize that this sense of emptiness goes much deeper than that. It's not just a temporary feeling. It's a defense mechanism your mind has created to protect you from something even more painful. Emotional numbness is often the result of unresolved trauma, repressed emotions, or unmet needs that have been ignored or dismissed for far too long. It's your mind's way of keeping you in a state of emotional hibernation, trying to shield you from the very things that need to be addressed in order for you to move forward. The irony is that while numbness can feel like a form of protection, it also keeps you stuck. It creates a false sense of security, making you believe that if you avoid your pain and discomfort long enough, you'll be safe. But in reality, this numbness keeps you disconnected from life. It keeps you from feeling the full spectrum of human experiences: joy, sadness, love, and even pain. And it's only when you choose to confront the discomfort and embrace the vulnerability you've been avoiding that you can begin to break free from this cycle. And here's where the magic happens. When you begin to face your discomfort, when you start to unravel the layers of numbness, clarity starts to emerge. Slowly but surely, the fog lifts, and you begin to see life through a new lens. It's as if your heart starts to open again, and in that space, joy and fulfillment become more than just distant dreams. They become real, tangible experiences that you can live out each day. This isn't a fleeting happiness that comes and goes with the wind. It's a deep, inner peace that grows and expands with each step you take on this journey. You begin to realize that happiness has always been within you, waiting to be discovered. And now you are free to experience it in all its richness. But as you step into this new phase of self-awareness, it's important to recognize that this journey isn't just about discovering who you are. It's also about recognizing how the world around you influences your sense of discontent. We live in a time of constant change, distraction, and overwhelm. Our world moves at an incredibly fast pace, and it's easy to feel as though we're being swept along in a current that we can't control. Social media, with its endless stream of images, comparisons, and distractions, only amplifies our feelings of inadequacy and disconnection. We are taught to look outside of ourselves for validation, for approval, and for fulfillment. We chase after material success, status, and external achievements, believing that they will bring us happiness. But in reality, this external pursuit of fulfillment only deepens our sense of emptiness. We find ourselves trapped in a never-ending cycle of comparison and desire, believing that we need to have more, do more, and be more in order to feel worthy or fulfilled. Eckhart Tolle calls this collective discontent the pain body, a shared collective energy fueled by ego, comparison, and the constant pursuit of external validation. We're taught to measure our worth against others, to compete for attention and recognition, and to find meaning in accomplishments that are ultimately fleeting. And yet, despite all of this, true happiness will never come from the external world. It's an inside job. Happiness is not something we can chase down or attain by following someone else's path. It's something that arises from within when we reconnect with the present moment and rediscover our own inner peace. When we stop looking outward for approval and start looking inward for peace and fulfillment, that's when the real magic happens. So how do we break free from the cycle of external validation and find our way back to true happiness? The answer is simple: by returning to the present moment. The present is the only place where true joy resides. When we stop rushing through life, when we slow down and become more mindful of the little things, the feeling of the sun on our skin, the sound of our breath, the joy of a good conversation with a friend, we begin to reconnect with the beauty of the world around us. The present moment is rich with opportunity for connection, meaning, and joy, and it's only when we tune into it that we begin to see the world in a new light. Joy is not something we have to chase or force. It's something we can cultivate within ourselves. It's about shifting our focus from the external to the internal, from the distractions to the stillness, from the noise to the quiet. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, the present is full of joy and delight. If you pay attention, you will see it. By simply being present in the moment, you open yourself up to the simple joys of life. It's in the small, quiet moments that true happiness is found. Being present doesn't mean ignoring your struggles or pretending that everything is perfect. It means accepting life as it is, embracing both the joys and the challenges without judgment. When you allow yourself to fully experience the present moment without rushing or wishing for something else, you begin to see that life is much more beautiful and meaningful than you ever realized. But being present is just the first step. True happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. It's about aligning your choices with your deepest values, connecting with the things that truly matter, and weaving joy into every aspect of your life. It's about making decisions that nourish your soul, setting boundaries, and prioritizing what brings you peace. Your mindset plays a crucial role in this journey. What thoughts dominate your mind? Are you focused on gratitude, possibility, and hope? Or do you find yourself lost in judgment, anxiety, and scarcity? The thoughts you choose to entertain create your reality. As Bob Proctor wisely said, you do what you think about. The more you choose to focus on positive thoughts and feelings, the more you'll begin to attract joy into your life. It's not about forcing yourself to be happy or ignoring life's challenges. It's about choosing to see the lessons, the growth, and the beauty that can be found in every moment. Gratitude is your guide along the way. Even in the midst of struggle, there is always something to be grateful for. Practicing gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right in your life, and it opens your heart to more joy. But gratitude alone isn't enough. You must take action. You must create space for the things that truly matter to you. Sometimes this requires making difficult decisions, such as saying no to things that drain your energy or removing toxic influences from your life. It's about making room for the things, people, and experiences that bring you joy and fulfillment. Though the journey isn't always easy, it is always worthwhile. As Michael A. Singer says, surrender to the flow of life. Let go of the need for control and allow life to unfold as it will. Embrace the challenges as opportunities for growth and trust that every step you take on this path brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. With each choice, joy becomes more than just a fleeting emotion. It becomes a state of being. It becomes something you cultivate moment by moment, choice by choice. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This journey, though difficult at times, is ultimately one of self-discovery, healing, and transformation. It is your path to true happiness. And as you take each step forward, you will find that joy was never far away. It was always there, waiting for you to see it.